Well, hello everyone, my name is Flair and welcome back to, oh boy, here we go, part 3 of this How to Railroader videos little series on how to use Lego Train Man's livery and Decamon. I guarantee I still butchered the name after the 3rd video, but if I did, I apologize. But anywho, in this video, I'm going to go over how to, originally when you download it, how to change it over so you can make your own mod folder, along with putting stuff into the folder, locomotives and rolling stock into the folder so that way you can modify them in game, and as the final part, showing you how to package it all so that way you can then use it in game and share it with your friends, or if you want to go publish your own livery pack on Nexus or something like that. Before I get into any further of the video, I just want to give that wonderful reminder that if you like what you're seeing on my channel, go ahead and give the video a nice like, and if you want to see more, go ahead and hit subscribe, because I have noticed a lot of people have recently started watching my videos more than usual, which I'll take, and thank you all so much. But I have seen comments that are asking about this, but I don't think they quite realize I now have a second, and now subsequently this 3rd video out of even more detail on how to use this mod. So, if you like the video, whoop-de-doo. If you want to see more, subscribe. Enough of me blabbling, let's get to the good stuff. Alright, so, we're back here in Railroader, and of course, we don't want to start in Railroader, so I'm just going to go ahead and exit out the game. So, when we first originally start this off, we are going to download the mod off of Nexus. Now, I'm going to give a little disclaimer here. I have not updated my mod of to the latest one due to it only works with the experimental branch. I'm still using a version that is still good for the base game. I believe the latest one before the experimental branch launched for Railroader, but I am still using it, but I can at least show you how to go through this. Now, Lego Man also has a link on Nexus where you can click and it will show you how to install and do this as well, but I know some people are visual learners and want to see a step-by-step on the computer. So, getting started, let me go ahead and open up my folders here. So, when you originally open it up, or when you download it, it's going to create a folder called Change This. Now, I just need to get to mine. Let me just get to my mods. Wrong one.
A few minutes later.
Okay. Now that I've gotten this finally back to where I'm supposed to, when you originally download the mod, you are going to just open up your Unity Mod Manager, and you're going to click and drag it in the zip file into Unity Mod Manager, and it's then going to put a file in here, and it's going to be called Change This. What you're going to do is you're going to click on that folder. So like when I originally downloaded it, it was this file here, which is my current one that I'm using with the group I'm in with with a couple of friends. It's going to be called Change This. You're going to go ahead and change it to whatever you want. And then when you go inside the folder, you're going to be given 3 pieces of information. You have this one where it's going to be all the stuff. This is where definitions are going to go for the locomotives that you're going to be cloning and all that and coloring. This is going to be the folder that has like pictures and logos that if you want to roleplay a different railroad. And this file here, this JSON file, is the info one. So like when you zip your file back up to send off to either Nexus or friends that you're playing with, it's going to show up as this. So if I click on it right now, it's going to open up JSON file right here, and this is where you're going to put the ID of whatever you want to call it. So like when you click and drag it into Unity Mod Manager, this is what's going to show up. Your version of how many you've done, the display name that it's going to show up on when it opens up that little bar box when you first launch the game, and then the manager version of whatever Unity Mod Manager you're using currently at the time, which this for me is 0.273. Alright, so that is how you get kind of started. Now, to actually start modifying the engines themselves in-game is a little bit more of a trickier step. What we're going to do, now I have it kind of saved on my favorites bar, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Now, to get to this part, you're going to be looking for Giraffe Lab LLC, and this is going to be where your saves for the actual game, where Unity is going to be kept, and your player logs. You can also find this through the help button on Railroader. It will bring you straight to this. Now, this I had to add myself, my own little folder called Assets Pack. So I went ahead and made it myself, and then in here, because the game is going to read, this is where the game is going to read the information for the locomotive that you want to download. To put a locomotive in here to start editing it, what you need to do, now for my simplicity, what I usually do is I just open up a separate window. So let me go ahead and just open up, I think it was this one, so I'm going to open up this one in a new window. Zoom this over just a little bit, and we're just going to backtrack real quick to Raro. Now, you can do this with modded locomotives as well. I'm just going to give this little warning that trying to mod modded locomotives is a little bit tricky and tedious sometimes because the game doesn't fully recognize them as in the game. Yes, the information's there and they run smoothly, but trying to edit it with the actual in-game engine is a little bit tricky. So if you're first starting out, I would suggest start with one of the base game locomotives. So what you're going to do, you're going to go down to here to Railroader Data, scroll down to Streaming Assets. In Asset Packs, you'll have every piece of rolling stock that is currently in the game. Locomotives are here, labeled as IS, and then whatever their real arrangement is and their tractive effort. For today's demonstration, I'll pick my good old favorite, happy little G16. I love this engine. So what you're going to do is you're just going to either copy, or you could click and drag, but I would always suggest copy just for the safety of it, and then you're just going to paste it in here. There, it is now safely inside the game and is now ready to be edited. Now that you have that all done, you can go ahead and just launch Railroader. So Railroader is launching. Good, good, good. Come on. Computer, I know you got a lot going on right now in your life. Please, do things. Alright, excellent. So with the Mod Manager box still up, when you scroll down, you'll see your mod pack that you have. Like, here's mine of my WT and YP coloring by me, which is labeled as 3.1. This is what that JSON file is going to change what it looks like on here. So we'll just go ahead and save, and then we'll go ahead and click on Editor. And just another loading screen of waiting for the game to launch. Please, do the thing. Jolie, do the thing!
Julie, do the thing!
Alright. Excellent. Now that we are fully in the modding, into the editing part of it, let's get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the G16. Now, I know for mine, it's going to show a whole bunch of other things because this has been different things I've done with the locomotive. But here's what you're going to do if you want to edit the engine. Now, be warned. You can only choose one thing at a time. So if you want to edit the engine itself, you're going to click the one that has IS, which stands for, LS, which is locomotive steam. And if you want to edit the tender, you're going to click the locomotive tender part, which is the second one down. So, because yes, I know you could just spawn a color down here and drag it over to the tender, but when you go to load this in, when the locomotive goes around a curve, whatever you have back here is going to be parented or connected to the locomotive, and it's going to disappear somewhere inside the tender. We don't want that. We want it to look nice and happy. So let's just go ahead and just make a little bit of changes to this. So let's just for demonstration purposes today, I'm just going to go ahead and go down, give myself a color paint component, and I'm just going to drag it on up, and let's just go ahead and pretend we're going to try and make it a colored boiler. Oh, well, yeah, there we go. We got a full colored boiler. That's probably way too long for it, but that's fine. We're just doing this for demonstration purposes. And also be warned that if you do make something too long, it is going to bleed onto the tender. But yeah, for just simplicity and demonstration purposes, we're going to do that. So I'm going to then go ahead and name it. I'm just going to put as added stripe. And I'm going to go ahead and enter. Now, pretend we zoomed up into the future. I have my engine all decorated. It looks marvelous. It is the freshest thing you have seen come out of the shop in forever. You are all ready to go. What you're going to do is you're going to go here and hit the save button. It's going to go ahead and just glitch the engine out and save it. Then, what you are safe to do then is deselect, close, and you are safe to then quit out of the game. Go ahead and quit all the way. Now, I still have my asset packs folder open. This is where you're going to start your main work. What you're going to do, you're going to click inside the engine you just edited. So for me, it was the G16. I'm going to go to the definitions folder, and you're going to get the definitions for that locomotive to open up. Now to find what you just did, I find it nice and easy to just do Control F, bring up the search bar, and I'm just going to look for added. It's then going to take you down to what you just added. So here's the added stripe we just put on it. Let's see, making sure, yep, because there's the one where it's a full length of 20. Oh boy. Now, don't do anything in here. This is more of what you're going to be copying from. What you're going to do, and this is how I do it. You don't have to do the way I do, but this is how I do it. I'm going to have this folder open here. I'm going to open up to the mod folder that I made. The definition one. So back up just so you can see. Go to mods. So I'm going to go down to my mod folder, my coloring. I'm going to go to this one, the top one, which has just Lego's library of stuff. And in there, you're going to find another little bit of information called the example clone and the definitions. This is where you're going to put the locomotive's information, well, locomotive and rolling stock that you want to change, because you can also do this with any of the rolling stock in game as well. So you're going to click on the example clone, and it's going to open up another empty JSON file over here on the side. What I suggest you do, now you could also do this in Notepad++ or just regular Notepad. It doesn't matter. I've used both of them and they work the same. I've also seen that Notepad++ gives the actual code lines to show what's being grouped together. So it's whatever you choose or whatever you have on your computer. So the next thing you're going to do is Control A, or just copy everything, Control C. I'm going to open up a new one. It's going to be labeled as untitled. I'm going to close the example one so nothing happens to it. And I'm just going to go ahead and paste it on down. There we go. We are now in the part of getting ready to bundle it up and actually put it into your mods folder so you can pass it around and put it to all your friends. Alright, next thing we're going to do. What I usually like to do to make my life a little simpler is I like to separate them into two separate windows. So I can have what I'm making over here and the original one over here. So the identity, this is what we are going to be looking for. So scroll all the way back to the top, because you need to make sure you have the identifier for what locomotive you're doing it to. So we are doing it to this G16. I'm going to copy that, go over here, change it to there. The new identifier, what I usually like to do is I just like to put the original one in and then just do dash and then just put whatever the heck you want after this. My other ones are labeled as tests, so for this one I'm just going to say video. So that way I know it's the... Can I spell? Video. Excellent. Alright, the object name. This is what's going to show up in the game's buy menu, or when you're in Sandbox, this is what it's going to show up as. So I'm going to call this one... Well, if you want for simplicity, you can just copy what was over here. Just be warned that if you name it as this, it's also going to show the same exact one in-game of what you're doing. So I'm going to call it how about, just to make it easier, I'm going to put video G16 logo. Description, again, you can put whatever you want here of happy little choo-choo. And then clone and clone default, these are going to tell the game that this is a clone to use the G16 model, and these are the things that you're going to do to it. Alright, this is where we're going to actually start putting the information that you have now. So we're going to go back over to this one over here that we used to edit. Go back down to where we had that stripe. I'm going to scroll down. Now, this is where you got to pay a little bit of attention. See this little mark right here? You want to, whatever you made, you want to get the top one, and you're going to scroll on down till you get to its opposite counterpart, which is usually right under the enable part. And then you're going to just copy all that. Control C a couple times. Go up here. Delete. And then paste it in. Control V. And there we go. The painted part that we just made is now on the model that we are going to clone. Excellent. You can do this for all that. There are other things that you can do, like if you want to change the tender of it. That's a simple thing of, so I'll actually show you right here if you want to change the type of tender that you have behind it. So we could go into here. I'm going to go ahead and hit already Control F. There we go. Tender. Enter. All right. We can also change the where is it? Oh, it'd be more up at the top for this one because it's going to use the tender, there it is, the tender identifier. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this entire line right here, including the comma. I'm going to Control C, and I'm going to put it in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put it underneath the new identifier is where I found it works for me. I'm going to hit Control V, and I need to get this in line with the rest. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Tab, and it's going to put it in there. If you put it in line, I have found for some reason it doesn't want to read that you're changing the tender of it. So if I want to change the tender to, I don't know, how about we change it to, the G25's tender, just for the little giggles and all that, because they have the same exact hallmark on them. So we'll use that one. And then we have all that set to go. Alright, now we're at the part of bundling it up and putting it into your folder so that way you can send it off to whoever you want. You're going to go to File, and you're going to go to Save As. You want to put it inside the folder, the mod folder that you made, and put it in the definition slot. Now, because I was using regular Notepad, it does not change it to a JSON file. If you leave it as this, it's going to make it a text file, which will not make it work. If you're using Notepad++, it's going to already have the option that you can put into a JSON file. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and just hit All Files. Now, if you're just starting out, it's not going to have anything in it. For me, it has all the stuff that I've done before. So you're going to go ahead and just call it whatever the heck you want. So I'm just going to call it Video, Video Loco. And then the important part here, this is the big one, because if you're not using Notepad++ and you're using just the regular Notepad, you need to put .json file in here. Actually, I want to double check because sometimes, yes, I need to be all lowercase. So I was correct the first time. So video loco .json, and we're gonna go ahead and save. There we go. It also changed up the title of here. So just to make sure that everything is in there and all hunky-dory, I'm going to go ahead and close these out. And I'm going to reopen my folder where I had all my definitions. And there it is. Video Loco. Excellent. So now that you have it in here and it's all ready to go, a nice little way to check, and it's a safe way, and I've done this several hundreds of times, and a couple of my friends can contest the insanity I've gone through to get some things to work. You're going to go back over to your asset packs, and you're just going to go back so that way you can see the stuff you have in there. And what I usually do to test the mod out to make sure it works for me on my end before I send it out is I'm going to take it and just delete it. Ta-da, it is gone. You might get a message that says if you delete it, it's going to cause problems. Don't worry about it. Because we were using a base game locomotive, it's saved hard into the actual base game files. Now, if you do have to change something on it, it's just as simple as before. You just click and drag it back in, and it's going to have it under there of whatever you call the locomotive. But anywho, let's get back to testing out, making sure everything works. So we have it still saved here, and we just delete it from here. Because if you leave it here, it's always going to show up as how you edited here. So even if you open up the JSON and change the location, whatever you have set in your asset packs is going to hard override what you have in your mod ones. Or it's just going to double up. I've had multiple situations that happen. Alright, so let's go back to Railroader finally. Enough talking, open the game back up. Come on, sometime today, please. We got a video to shoot. Computer. You don't have much. Thank you. Alright, there we go. We're going to save, close, and we're going to go ahead into single player. I'm just going to open up one of my testing sandbox. You're probably going to see one of the engines I've been modding for quite a bit now that has been making me a little insane. Yeah, this is back into it. You don't need to see that. Anywho, oh, well, you see it now. Anywho. Alright, Control T, locomotives. And if I scroll down, we are looking for Video Engine or Video Loco. I can't remember. It's been only a couple seconds, but I forget exactly what I called it. Where are you? Oh my goodness, where are you? Where? Where did I put you? What happened? Wait. Huh? Hold on, did I do something wrong? I feel like I really did something wrong. Atlantic semi... No. Oh, I'm right at the top. So there it is, Video G16 Mogul. So we're gonna go ahead and click it. Now when I go ahead and place it, we should see that there is a giant white striping down it, and it should have the G25 tender. So place and place. There we go. There we go. We have a giant white striped little G16, and look at that. It also has the G25 tender, which I'm going to say does not look too bad behind it. If I change the positioning, I could make that work behind it. Actually, no, never mind. When the tender is much wider than the engine, I get a little cautious about it. But anywho, that is how you move locomotives into the editing files of the game. You edit it, put the stuff you want, and then how you package it up and put it into your mods folder to send it out to all your friends, Nexus, or whatever the heck you're going to do with it. If you like the video, go ahead and give that a nice like. I enjoy seeing everyone like up the videos and all that. And if you want to see more of what I have to come in the future, go ahead and subscribe. And I will see all of you next time. Toodaloo, y'all!